You are listening to Shameless Stories, and I'm Nicola Humber, founder of the Unbound Press, soul-led publishing company for magical women writing world-changing books. And we are delighted to be the sponsor of this podcast. So enjoy, magical one.
So welcome to another episode of Shameless Stories, the podcast designed to lift the lid on all things shame and bring it into the light so we can actually live a shameless life. And I'm super excited to introduce you my next guest, who's here to talk about her relationship with shame and amongst other things. I've got Christina Avraam, who is joining me today. So excited. And look at this amazing hat, guys. The people who are on YouTube are watching on YouTube. Like, look at this. And when I tell you what she does, it will make complete sense. So you are a holistic style coach.
I am, yes.
Yeah. So tell me a bit about that. How did you get into that line of work?
God, it's a bit of a long story, so I'll save that for a bit further on. Cup of tea, get your drinks out, your cake. You know, I think I've been a kind of style coach at heart since I was very little. You know, I used to get my older sister's hand-me-downs and all the rest of it, and used to kind of style it myself to try and put my personality into the clothes a bit. And I was always saying to my mum, you know, what have you got on that just looks absolutely hideous? You need a belt to cinch in the waist. You know, I was always saying things like this. But I think the biggest thing that stands out in my head was when I understood how powerful styling was. I was at university, and we had our exams. And there I turned up in a pinstriped suit, trouser suit. My friends were like, what are you doing? Have you lost the plot? Have you actually lost the plot? Have you got an interview after this? And I knew that it was a strategic move on my part, because I thought, if I wear this suit, I'm going to feel powerful. I'm going to feel ready. I'm going to smash this exam. And that's how clothing made me feel. So that kind of sowed the seed in my head. And kind of moving forward, let's forward it a bit to when COVID hit. I was in the family businesses before that, but COVID had a bit of a silver lining for me, because my friend said to me, you know what you should be? You should be some sort of a coach, like a style coach. And although it had been in the back of my mind, I thought, yeah, that's exactly. So I studied it. Not that you need to study it, but I just wanted to have that being accredited under my belt. And I got that during COVID. And that's when the journey began. And I'm loving it. I've met some wonderful women. I've got beautiful clients that I've worked with. I'm speaking more about it. So becoming a bit more of a motivational speaker, so to speak. I'm on wonderful podcasts like yourself, Sarah. And I've written articles which have been published in women's magazines, in the Brand You magazine. So very proud of where this is going and the journey. And I think it's because I'm so passionate about it. That's why it's moving forward so well. And I'm putting 100% into it, and I'm enjoying every minute.
Oh, it sounds amazing. Like the fact that you always had that deep-seated like connection to clothes from a very early on. And like that just like leads me into sort of, we obviously this is talking about shameless stories, but with regards to kind of clothing, was there anything, because clothing's a big thing for women?
Yeah, personal, very personal.
It's very personal. And it's interesting because my daughters go to a school where they don't have a uniform, and it's taken them, I've seen stuff happening with them that I would have expected would be happening at senior school, but they've really kind of finding their groove, finding how they want to show up in the world. And it's something that I don't know if some guys don't get it, but it's almost like having, like, I mean, I used to rock up in my PR job wearing shoulder pads, heels, and I'd always be in black because the PR girls would fade into the background because we were there doing the work.
Oh, that word you just used, fade into the background. Oh my goodness, no.
Yeah, so it's interesting that you say that around clothing, and like you come on with this beautiful red hat. And actually, I normally wear red. It's funny, I'm wearing black today. Would never have normally picked it. Don't know why, but this could be reason.
It looks red, Sarah, but it's actually fuchsia.
Oh,
it
sorry.
does look red, yeah.
So, like, kind of going back through my waffle.
Yeah.
Your clients, they're coming to you because they don't want to phase into the background. And when they get to a certain age, I'm guessing, I don't want to lead the witness, but I'm guessing that's like why it's such a passionate topic for you.
I mean, why it's such a passionate topic for me, and you know, it's the Shame podcast, is really if we take it right back to when I was a little girl, you know, my parents are Greek Cypriot immigrants and they didn't have a lot of money. I've got two sisters. And so hence the reason why I had all the hand-me-downs. But even sending me to school, they didn't have money to put me in a uniform, the school uniform. So how interesting is that conversation's come up? So I was sent to school in a red corduroy dress. Okay. So you can imagine how I started to stick out like a sore thumb, you know, and when you're really young, you don't have those feelings of shame. It's other people coming into the picture that start to put that on you because you're young, you just want to play, you want to have fun. I didn't feel shame. I started to feel shame when other people started calling me out for sticking out. So even going to senior school, again, parents didn't have money. So they were going to buy me the uniform, but they weren't ready just yet. I used to be called out by teachers. I was walking through the corridor and they used to call me by my surname. Even more, you know, not my first name. I wasn't good enough to be called by my first name. So they used to say, Avraam, when are you going to be getting the school uniform? Come on. Well, you know, what do you want me to say? It's not my fault that my parents are struggling. So at first that hit of shame and embarrassment came. And I remember I used to hang my head and I used to think, oh my God, and I used to feel my cheeks turning red. But then the more it happened, the more angry I became. That core of me set on fire, and that fight came out. And that's when I started answering back. And that's when I started saying to them, it's not my fault my parents don't have money at the moment. They'll get it when they're ready. I need to answer back. But that brings me to that feeling of, I started feeling proud of being different and being unique and standing out. And clothes became my way of expressing who I was. And, you know, at school, unfortunately, you know, back in my day, if you didn't fit into that square mold, if you resisted against it, if you were someone different, the teachers didn't like it. Even when we were allowed in the sixth form to wear hats, why I was being called out for it again. Avram, take off that hat. And I was at an older age now, so I was like, well, why should I? Why don't you tell her to take off her hat? You know, so it all leads me to here. Being visible is key for me. And that's why I'm so passionate about keeping women especially visible, especially as we get older, because there's that stigma of let's tone things down now. Let's hush now. Don't speak so loud. Your clothes shouldn't be loud either. I mean, I'm not saying we should all walk out in a sparkly sequin dress with hats on and bright lipsticks. It's not to everyone's taste, but there are things you can do, you know, on a daily basis to start building your confidence. Wear a bold lipstick, wear a different pair of shoes, something that makes you happy that you've already got. And it's going to become habit for you. And that's where your journey to authentic style begins, and making that impact. I mean, it's so important as well in business. You know, listen to your core. Who are you? Where do you want to go? Who do you want to be? How do you want people to perceive you when you're talking? And how do you want them to feel when you've left that room? It's so important. It's vital, you know.
Yeah, I love that, because there is an element of, I mean, it's great to do the inner work, but if you're not showing up as your truest, authentic self on the outside, like, how are they going to find you?
How they're going to fight, how they're going to remember you. If the inside is not aligning with the outside, people you meet anyway are going to figure that out for themselves. They're going to be like, oh, something's off here, something's not quite right, because you're not being yourself. And then they'll end up not really trusting you, even on a subconscious level. And that's when you lose clients and business. So if you show up as your true self in your personal life and in your professional life, it all marries together and things start to happen for you.
So how old are your clients typically now?
So my audience is kind of 40 plus.
Yeah.
40 plus, because I feel like they've got that experience, they've been through certain things, and they're ready now to be seen. They are ready to be seen. Enough shying away, enough being a wallflower. Let's get you all out there, you know. Let's transform you all.
I love that as well. So one thing that I always teach my girls is, you know, you just need to be comfortable in what you're wearing, because that's one thing that I always used to find is, I mean, I used to do dancing and you'd be in these itchy costumes and you'd be, all your clothes would be falling off. Or I think it's like, I don't know, there's a sensory thing going on. I don't know, but I feel like it's like you have to be comfortable in what you wear.
You can be comfortable and stylish as well at the same time. And style has to be comfortable for you. You can't say, like, if you're a speaker on stage or something and you've got an outfit on and you're not comfortable, you're pulling it, you know, you're thinking your belly's showing a bit, you're uncomfortable, you're talking afterwards, you're pulling at your sleeve, it keeps dropping. You have to be comfortable so that you forget about what you're wearing and you concentrate on that speech you're going to deliver, or on the next person that you're going to, you need to get business from. You know, you need to be comfortable in what you're wearing, 100%. And comfort doesn't mean being boring.
Yeah. I mean, one thing that, like, you've shared with us a little bit about your shame story and how you've turned that shame into kind of that power, into that confidence. When women come to you, are they feeling an element of shame? Like when you get them, you know, when you style them, do they come in and then transformed into this beautiful butterfly? I mean, what's the process? I'd love to know a bit more about that and the kind of experience that a woman would go through with you.
It's not a short process, because that word holistic, I could easily go and pick a few outfits out and look at the woman's body shape and say, this is going to suit you, this isn't, this is what you need to wear. Okay, so what happens when I've left them? We've done no work on the inside. And so they're back at square one, not knowing what to do. So exactly, holistic means learning what that woman needs from who is she? You know, who is she? What does she need from me? So I work a bit on our relationship. So we'll have a few meetups. I'll have some questionnaires that they can fill in beforehand so we don't waste time. So I can start to understand what they need from me, what I can help them with. And there's all these processes in my package. There's a wardrobe reset, which can be very emotional for some women. So there's another exercise I do before they do that, you know, like a calming exercise almost, because we can get so attached to our clothes, can't we? I mean, you can have clothes from 30 years ago. You'd be like, I remember that when I wore that. I was 18 at that party. I'm not going to throw that away. But in order to make space for the new you that's coming out, you need to get rid of that old person. I always say through our experiences and what we go through and our businesses and everything else, forever evolving. We're always learning, and our wardrobe has to do that with us. It has to evolve. Otherwise, we stay stagnant. So there are certain stages that I go through with the women, and the last stage is the buying of the clothes. That's completely the last stage. We've done the wardrobe reset. And then the last stage is that I spend quite a few hours with the ladies. It can be in person or on a Zoom, whatever's convenient. So yeah, it's personal. It's bespoke to every woman I meet. So no package is ever the same. No experience is ever the same. But at the end of it, they are completely transformed and they know exactly what to do when I've left them. Yes, they'll call me sometimes for help. Let's say they've got a wedding to go to or a party, a special party. Yeah, I can help them with that as well. But they never come back to me saying, listen, I've forgotten everything you've taught me. I don't know what to do. Wait, can I book another package with you? That's never going to happen, because it's been such an in-depth experience with me, a holistic one. Yeah.
Love that. I mean, because there's so many factors when it comes to dressing. There's so much advice out there. You get your magazine and it's which jeans you wear is fit your body type.
I know.
All of those things. I mean, would you say get rid of all of that and just like focus on what it is that you actually need and how you feel in those clothes?
Yeah, I would say start manifesting things in your head. So, and dressing with intention. Okay, so let's say the sales come on and you think, oh my God, 50% off. Right. So you run to the shops or you're online and you're grabbing everything because it's 50% off. But does it go with anything in your wardrobe? Have you gotten rid of anything you need to replace it with? What events have you got coming up that you need to dress for? Are you dressing for who you are now or who you want to be in the future? You know, these questions, ask yourself these questions before you purchase one single item. And remember, it's not about what or the amount of clothes you've got in your wardrobe. It's less is more, quality over quantity always. So let's say you've got an event to, go and shop for that event. Buy yourself a dress or a suit or whatever you're comfortable in, whatever makes you feel great. I've got this, that feeling. This is a bit of me. I've got this now. That's the feeling you want when you put on every single outfit. And I'm talking about on a daily basis as well. Even if you're walking the dog, even if you're going for a coffee or you're meeting a friend. I'm not saying, you know, wear a power suit when you go for coffee with a friend. Wear something that looks good, that you feel good in. Wear something that you think, oh, if I see someone I know, I won't feel embarrassed. I'll feel like myself. I feel confident. You know, I've got this on. I've teamed it up with some nice earrings. I've got my lippy on. I'm good to go. I'm good to face the world. And you never know when your next opportunity is going to come up either. Always be ready.
I love that. I love that. That drive, that like being ready. Have you always been an entrepreneur?
Do you know that word? I never used it I never used it for myself. I thought entrepreneurs were multi-billionaires, you know, in kind of Ferraris and Lamborghinis. I mean, I wouldn't say no to any of that, but I never thought that of myself. But, you know, my dad was an entrepreneur. He was a true entrepreneur. And I kind of think when you live it and go through it, with someone so close to you, it kind of embeds itself into you as well. I'm not saying everyone's the same, but for me, it definitely was that. And working in traditional businesses was never me. I never liked to take orders or anything like that. And I always knew that I was going to work for myself because someone telling me what to do is just a no-no. It's just a no-no. I'm happy to take advice, and you know, I'm always happy to learn, because when we say I know everything, you don't know anything. Then that means I always like to have new knowledge, new experiences, but having someone kind of say you need to do this and you need to do that is never going to work with someone like me, and I guess with a lot of other women out there as well.
Yeah, I love that. I love the fact that, you know, you've known that for yourself. Well, probably about that time when you put your pinstripe suit on, I guess.
Yeah, probably a bit later on in life, because before that, do you know what, Sarah? Even now, even to this day, and I hate to say this, women, okay, can be the biggest shamers on this planet to other women. And it's sad to say, but it's the truth, okay? And I've encountered it at networking events. I've encountered it, you know, isn't that, you know, I've had a woman come up to me and say, what? Oh, are you going somewhere after this? I'm like, no. And she says, oh, you're a bit dressed up. What are you trying to say? I'm a bit dressed up. Am I making you feel uncomfortable because you haven't put energy and effort into your outfit? That's not my problem. That's yours. So don't try and put it on me. But that's what, you know, and women say they're not gatekeepers. Yes, they are. And there's another part of that shame. Let's say in the start of this business that I was trying to create, I had women saying to me, don't worry, we're going to share the information. Let's do this together. Those same women that I met later on were the biggest gatekeepers ever. If anything, they took the key, wiggled it in my face and threw it like that. But I'm glad that they did that, because even though I'm tough, I became even more tough. And I knew, and my guard was up straight away. So I knew who to kind of trust and who not to trust. And it's so sad to say it, but I'm being honest here. And it's all about being honest, you know. But yeah, that's what I have encountered so far. In fact, you know, a little story here. in the beginning of my journey, I paid a woman £140, I think, for 1 hour of her time.
Right.
You know, she was some professional brand expert. I'll put that in inverted commas. And I happened to see her at a networking event, and I went up to her, my usual open self. I've got nothing to hide. I said, "Oh, hi. How are you? Do you remember me? I'm Christina, blah, blah, blah." She goes, "Yeah, yeah. Oh, good to see you here." Sort of shocked that I was even at this networking event. And before I even had a chance to say anything else to her, she felt uncomfortable with me straight away. I don't know if she didn't like my confidence. She didn't like that I'd come so far. So she said, "Oh, have you met these women here?" And instead of introducing me, she kind of pushed me into that circle and didn't want me to talk to her anymore. I thought, that's another, you know, you're supposed to be an expert in your area. You're the one that should feel shame, not me. So this is what I mean. It's never going to go away. You're always going to encounter shame in your life. Whatever you do, the key here is knowing who you are, what you're capable of, and keeping your vision and your mission in your mind and not letting anyone tread on it. That's it.
Yeah. No, I love that. I mean, that is something you see on social media all the time. There are women out, you know, I'm very much in the mindset of, you know, we should here be straightening each other's crowns, you know, not tearing each other.
Definitely. Definitely.
When we do work together, we are very powerful together. But and then it's also about kind of offering, well, there's always going to be energy exchanges. We're always, you know, I guess not everybody is built the same way.
Yeah.
But it's good that you knew that was what was happening, and like it is a good it's a good story to demonstrate what happens in those spaces sometimes, because you can just, you know, you get that feeling. I went to one where I'd worn something that I really felt comfortable in, something I knew I felt relatively good looking in, and it was summer and it was red, and I wore sandals because it was hot.
Yeah, of course. Why not?
I gave up the ghost on heels a long time ago because, you know, I used to like cripple my feet, and my dad.
Same.
I've got this story. Like I went to a football. I used to do PR for football, and I was insistent on wearing these like 3-inch heels. Walking from the station to the football ground, and my feet were on fire.
Oh God!
And it was like, oh my God, what am I doing? Like,
I know.
And that's, you know, I kind of, me and heels, that we had a bit of a falling out, but I'd always wear ridiculous shoes for some reason, and
because it made you feel powerful, Sarah. That's why it gave you confidence.
It did. It gave me that extra 2 inches from time to time. But in the end, I kind of got okay. I was okay with it in the end, and actually found power in Doc Martens. And
oh my God, I'm a Doc Martens girl. I wore them the other day. I'm always in them. I've actually got heel Doc Martens as well, to be honest with you. But yeah, I've got flat ones as well.
But I think that's it. I kind of went back to when I left my corporate job, I went back to dressing how I like, what my style was. And I mean, and that was Doc Martens and 90s clothes. And
isn't that interesting as well that you talk about the corporate world? Because there again, why are we supposed to dress in boring colors and in boring suits just because we're in an office? That doesn't make sense to me. Yet again, you know, it's all common sense. You're not going to go in with a purple sparkly trouser suit or a jumpsuit to an office, are you? Corporate office. I mean, it's just not going to work. But you can add your own personality to your outfits. You can wear a beautiful dress that's for the office, and you can wear it afterwards for drinks as well. And it's you. Why does it have to be all sort of stiff and boring and neutrals? Neutrals doesn't mean that you're classy, and it doesn't mean that you know what you're talking about. You know, that color neutral where everyone, you know, was thinking, oh, she's got that neutral wardrobe. She knows exactly what she's doing. No, she doesn't. Okay, that woman doesn't know exactly what she's doing. She needs help from people like me.
But I love that. I mean, what I'm loving is seeing the revolution of the women of a midlife and up who are accessorizing, who are wearing amazing, amazing colored outfits. And like, it's funny, I was shopping for my holiday. I was like, I just want to find some color. I just want to go on holiday and be colorful. But it's difficult because, high street fashion, it's not so,
it's not easy as well, that transition. If you're used to, I made fun of people wearing neutrals, but if you're used to wearing neutrals and you're used to wearing, things like blacks and grays and all sorts, it's not easy. If you want to add a bit of color, you're thinking, where do I start? My advice is to start small. There are certain things you can do. You don't have to go out and buy anything new. Just start small. Have you got a lipstick that's a bit bright that you think, oh, that's a bit bright for every day? Just wear it anyway. Okay. Have you got a pair of earrings that you think they're a bit out there? They're a bit out there. Wear them anyway. Okay. Not all together, just one thing at a time. Do that on a daily basis, and you'll see how that changes your mindset with styling. And then when you feel comfortable with that, you're going to be ready for the full shebang. You're going to be calling me, where's that holistic style coach? Now's the time I need her. Because then we can do that whole wardrobe reset. We can get you thinking differently. We can transform who you are, how you think about style, and how you can use it to your benefit. Because don't forget, it's a tool at the end of the day. It's a tool at our disposal. And remember, we're all unique, aren't we, as human beings? So why aren't you celebrating that in your style? Don't force it. Don't be like, oh, that lady, she told me I have to wear color. Don't force it. Okay, do what makes you feel comfortable, but also be bold with it at the same time. Sort of step a bit outside your comfort zone. Nothing's going to happen. Nothing bad's going to happen. Yeah.
Wear the lipstick, ladies. Wear the lipstick.
Wear the lipstick.
You say that because I bought these earrings, and they're the things that I love to wear because they're big and they're sparkly and they're moons, and it's like just a little touch of witch.
Exactly. You see, a bit of pizzazz, something that you sort of touch during the day and you think, oh yeah, I've still got those on. Great. Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm talking about. Anything that makes you feel happy, you should be wearing it.
Yeah, I love that. Don't save it for best.
Don't save it for best. Oh my God. I just posted that on my Instagram. I just did a post on that. Style is not about saving things for best. What happens?
There's such an old way that, that's an old way of thinking, isn't it? You'd go out, you'd buy something fancy and you'd wear it once and never wear it again.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that there has been, certainly over the last few years, there's been a real shift in that thinking.
Exactly.
You should wear the bright green neon vest to the school run.
Nothing's going to happen. Nothing bad's going to happen. Just try it, see how you feel. And go for it. Why not? Don't worry about what other people think either. Don't worry about what other people think. This is what's keeping you stagnant. You wasting too much time and energy on thinking, what's that person going to think of me? Is that person living in your house? Are they contributing to the bills? Are they walking in your shoes? Do they know anything that you've been through in your life? Are they part of your life? Then why do you care? Why do you care? And this word, I use it a lot. These naysayers that we are surrounded with, you need to push them away with your confidence, your mindset, and you need to surround yourself the same way you surround yourself with people in your personal life that lift you up and support you. You can do that in your business as well by choosing your tribe.
So good. Yeah. I'm taking this advice. It's so true, because what starts with clothes, it actually is so much more than that.
Yeah It's massive. It just changes everything. And once you get into finding your authentic style, which I understand is not easy for a lot of women, that's why people like me are around to help you. You see how everything starts to shift around you in a positive way. You'll see how that happens naturally, and and don't go out kind of looking for it, grasping at things. It will come to you. Trust me, it will come to you.
Is there any other words of wisdom that you want to leave behind in our episode today? I mean, there's so much wisdom here. Anything else?
Just one little phrase, I think, and become comfortable with being uncomfortable. If you think about that, it's quite deep, because, you know, we don't want to ever stop moving forward with anything that we're passionate about or anything that we want to do. And embrace that feeling of being uncomfortable, because that means you are learning something, you are doing something that you wouldn't normally do. That means you are going to succeed in what you want to do. And that means even with other people trying to put you down, once you have that confidence and you start feeling more comfortable with that feeling, you're gonna start to fly. Everything's gonna start to move for you, and you will see how what I'm saying makes sense.
Yeah. I'm just thinking back to that little girl in her corduroy outfit where
that was me, and that's me still now. That's me still now, because I still, as I've spoken to you just now, Sarah, I still get those looks. I still get those women trying to put me down. It's okay, because I am who I am, and I know where I'm going, and I know what I'm doing, and I know what I'm talking about. They can sit there and stare all they like and say what they want. It means nothing to me anymore. It honestly doesn't. Let them waste their time.
I always like to reframe it a little bit, because I do wonder if you'd been at my school and you were in your red corduroy outfit and I was in my uniform, what would have been the flip of that scenario? And I've been there. I have been the other side, looked at people that there was a woman who used to show up in our office and her skirt there wasn't a skirt.
It was a belt. She forgot on the skirt.
And it was kind of like, it was more of an observation, and it was kind of I wish I had the balls to do that. That's the feeling that sometimes I used to get, and then that would then come with how you kind of, I don't know, I mean, I might be speaking for other people, but certainly my own experiences, a lot of it brought up not the uncomfortableness of what you were wearing or what that individual was wearing, but more around the daring to be different feeling and wishing I could be the same. And I think that is that's a reframe from where I'm sitting. It might not be true for other people.
But do you think that was the right sort of visibility that she needed?
Possibly not in the office.
What I mean?
But I guess that's the thing. It's like, where was the person direct,
Because what did you get from you saw her in that? You said to yourself, I wish I had the balls to wear that belt. Okay, but what else did you get from her as a woman, from her personality? Did you understand who she was at her core? Was she expressing her personality through her belt, skirts?
Well, I think there was a real don't give a fuck attitude to walking into a grey, dull office, not wearing what she deemed acceptable as office attire. And we're all kind of in our 30s wearing the uniform of the office, and she was different.
That's good. That is good. Yes, standing out is brilliant, and being visible is brilliant, but for the right reasons.
Yeah,
because for the right reasons. Because when she's left that, when I talk about making an impact and being remembered when you've left the room, you want to be remembered for what you're bringing to the table as a woman in your own right, not just because you're wearing a belt skirt, okay, but what, do you understand what I'm trying to say? So she was, in my opinion, making the wrong impact. Wrong impact, not the right impact.
There are impacts that can be positive and powerful.
Of course.
And there are impacts that we can misguided.
Yeah, perhaps, that's what she was trying to do. Perhaps she's just thinking, this is boring. I just want to stand out a bit. I'm not wearing that. That's not me. And good for her. Good for her
Yeah.
that she did that. But like you say, maybe it was a bit misguided. And if she had someone say to her, well, what have you thought of teaming that with this? Or wearing this color to make your face glow, or whatever it was, worked for her from the inside out, that call that I'm talking about, she would have still made an impact and been visible without having to wear a belt skirt to work. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting that it's triggered that memory in me.
Yeah.
Conversation, because I guess this is what I want to bring the shame out in the conversation. It's like, I think I would be remiss to say that I have not been in that situation where I've shamed another woman for what they're wearing.
We're all human beings, Sarah.
We're all human, and that's my acknowledgement, and I'm taking responsibility for that, because unfortunately we do that because we want to fit in, or we want to we want to be that person, or whatever it may be. There's, like you say, I think this holistic aspect to the work that you do, where you dive into the individual and understand how they want to show up, that's such important work. And that's kind of where I wanted to get to with it, in that it's not just enough to just go and pick a nice outfit off.
No, it's not. And exactly, because it's easy to do. Yes, exactly, because that's easy to do, isn't it? And talking about, if we bring that back as well to, I know everybody talks about it, but imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
That's shame as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
But by the way, that's never going to leave you either. And the more work you do on yourself, and the more you step outside your comfort zone into the unknown, the more you're going to encounter that imposter syndrome. And do you know what you need to do with that? You need to change the way you think about that. Why have you got that imposter syndrome? Why don't you spin it to a positive? Is it because you want to do well in what you're doing and you're comparing yourself to the other person, and you've got that drive to be like, I want to succeed. I want to succeed. I want to be better than that person. There's nothing wrong with that. That's healthy competition, because you want to do well. You put in the time, you're putting the effort, you've done the research, you're working your ass off for this. So why shouldn't you have that feeling of, I want to do this? Okay. And don't forget, social media a lot of the time is completely fake. So you'll see, let's say, I'll take myself as an example. Let's say I see a stylist on there who's got 1 million followers. Okay. In the beginning of my journey, I would have been like, oh my God, I'm going to be in a nursing home before I get even close to 1 million. I'm going to be dressing the folk in there, let alone styling them here. But how do the probability is they've got bots to do that work for them. That's how they've managed to get that audience up to those numbers fast. But because I want to do everything organically and authentically, because that's what I talk about, I have to walk the talk, and that's what I'm doing. So, even companies get on my nerves when they look at your social media accounts and say, oh my gosh, she's got a piddly amount of followers. That woman's there got millions of followers. I'm going to go with that woman there because she knows what she's talking about. Well, no, she doesn't. How do you know what she's done to acquire that?
Yeah.
So stay in your lane. Don't look left and right.
Yeah, that's great advice. And also, be discerning in who you share your energy with.
Completely. Don't waste your time on people that don't deserve you or your energy. Yeah, save it for yourself, your business, and the people that you love and support you.
Oh, amazing. Sorry, I asked you for one more question, and then we had a whole
and I went off on a tangent. I told you I was going to do that. So it was become comfortable with being uncomfortable.
Yes, I love that. In all ways. But thank you so much for coming on. I've had the best conversation. I'm totally
it's a pleasure.
My wardrobe now.
Thank you, Sarah. It's been a pleasure.
Wear the lipstick, of course.
Wear the hat.
Wear the hat, wear the lipstick, accessorize.
Be bold. See, we're going to go on again. We're going to go off on one.
Yes, I must. Thank you everyone for listening to this episode of Shameless Stories. I've had the best time talking to Christina. I will share all her links in the show notes. And if you have any questions, any feedback for us, please do reach out to me in the usual way. Thank you again for coming on, Christina.
Thanks for having me, Sarah. It's been a pleasure.